In our last video on our channel, we showed you guys an E-Sheen small, ready-to-run monster truck. Now this is an off-brand version, and we're trying to jump in front of the camera now that we're just about 90 days away from Christmas. Let's face it, we got to do a little bit of Christmas shopping early, because if it's anything like last year, shipping was crazy slow with a lot of companies and a lot of things ran out. So we're trying to give you guys some shopping ideas for Christmas. Now, we ended up liking yesterday's little RC truck. We're going to kind of compare this one to that. E-Sheen is a pretty good name brand as long as you're okay with waiting for a couple weeks or so to get your stuff with shipping. The funny thing is this one actually costs a little bit more. Now I would say it's more geared not toward kiddos, this one, because there's no secret little battery hatch on the bottom, and if you take the top off you can actually see all of your electronics inside. Now yes, we have a brushed motor in here and the receiver ESC combo right here. Our small battery. This has got to be one of the smallest batteries I've ever seen on one of these little ready-to-run vehicles. Very tiny. Is that going to give us a long run time or not? And this version, although it comes in 3 different colors, only has 1 battery option. And to those of you that are really into the hobby will know that I'm not a massive fan of Tamiya plugs, but they do get the job done. They've been around for a long time, and we see companies still manufacturing batteries and RCs with that old Tamiya plug. So let's see how this one stacks up to the other little cheap budget vehicle on the channel and drive it and see how it does. Let's talk about this radio for a second. This thing, when I grabbed it to drive it, which is the first time I've actually held it to drive, feels really weird. This feels too small for my hand. I've never had this kind of weird complaint before. Maybe Abby will really like it. Interestingly, we do have fully proportional steering and variable throttle. And the vehicle itself feels slightly more hobby grade than the last one on the channel, but the radio feels cheaper for sure. Now I'm thinking the tires are a little softer on this, and the springs or the shocks are a little softer too. So I think we're not going to get quite as much bouncing while driving on this road. It's holding up pretty good. Pretty good. And I'm wondering if the runtime is going to be longer on this one with that tiny battery. This comes in red and blue, 2 different colors, and we've got the yellow one here today, which I actually really like, this bright yellow and blue look. Don't you like that, Abby?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That is Amelia's favorite color, so this might be a good vehicle to save for our daughter. She's almost 3 years old, so that's pretty cool. Let's do a full throttle pass. This one actually feels faster than that little E-Sheen one. But it should, because, oh, I hit a rock and there we go. Believe it or not, this one, even though it's more off-brand than E-Sheen, cost about $20 more. So, you know what? It's still just as hard to control on these bumps, in my opinion. Here we go. Oh, I missed the ramp. I'm gonna have to pass the controls over, Abby, so you can have some fun with this too. I want to do one more pass and then it's yours, if I can. No, into the ditch, and I'd say that's an epic fail, so the controls are now yours.
Thanks. Okay,
Abby, we're starting to get into driving season, ground vehicle driving season, so you guys are going to start to see a lot more Abby on the channel, I think.
And I'm not happy. It's too cold.
It is too cold. Oh, you hit the ramp and you didn't go into the ditch, so already off to a better start than me. What do you think about that controller?
Feels fine to me.
Feels good to you. Okay, well that's probably, you have a smaller hand than me, so.
You can do it, buddy.
No, I can move that ramp too if we need to. No.
Yeah, move it to the center.
Okay.
Okay, let's try it there.
So guys, remember, something like this obviously isn't going to be for us Losi fans and Traxxas fans, and it's not necessarily like mid-tier on the wish list or anything. This is going to be ideal for a beginner in the hobby. I mean, if you want to try something that's not a new bright, this is kind of the idea. It is 4-wheel drive, and it has some fun things going for it, but if Abby and I had to pick something off of our shelf that we wanted to drive, I don't know if it would be this, right?
Things are getting so expensive now. What used to be good for like $50, $60, $75. Nice. Like 4 years ago, this would have cost like $30.
Maybe $35, $40.
Yeah. So it's kind of blowing my mind lately. I'm sure everybody's mind is blown now. Come on, no!
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments about the increase in prices of the RCs we're seeing. You know, we're seeing some of our favorite brands hit the like $600, $700, $800 range for an RC car. Would you ever pay that? But I have to also ask, would you pay $4 a gallon for gas? Because, oh, good ramp. Good ramp. That could be coming, you know? I mean, sadly, it's not just RCs. And it's not just 1 or 2 companies.
I almost rolled it.
That was pretty cool, actually. You're getting better. You're hitting the ramp more and more often. That's pretty smooth. Good job. I'm impressed. Abby's getting a lot better at driving this. In just a short time, she had her hands at the controls. Already getting better. Nice little ramp. Good job. So is this truck, Abby, for the die-hard enthusiast?
Of course not.
Good answer.
Oh, that rock.
Yeah, I saw throw the back end up, but if we were at like an RC event and we wanted to let someone try, a little young person try an RC car, or someone that's never driven before, I know, this would be okay. Like, I wouldn't get upset at all if they broke anything. Now here's something else to consider too. This brand, it's going to have you're going to have a harder time finding spare part availability if you break something on this, which is going to be kind of hard to break at these speeds. But something like that Ishin one that was on the channel recently does have spare part availability. And that's a good thing. Now you might have to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get your spare parts if something breaks, but at least it's there. And so that's why I like Ishin.
Whoa. Ready?
Now, for a vehicle that's under $80, ready to run, in today's market,
Oh, that's it.
that's it for the battery?
That's it.
Oh man, well what do you think? That was the full run time.
Prices are getting expensive. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because I compare it in my mind to the 12428, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago. I don't really want to admit if it's that far.
It might be 7 or 8 years,
I
yeah.
don't know. But that was when it came out. It was $80. And there was a time where we could get it for like 50 to 60, I don't know, maybe even $40. Like, we saw some crazy good deals.
We had a special on our channel where we had a special coupon code just for our viewers where we got it down to like $55.
So to me, my brain is saying this is way overpriced. This 6 years ago would have been like $30,
maybe $35,
$40
yeah.
max. So to see it at $80,
72,
point,
72.
Okay, $72 price.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. But I think that's just what we're going to see from now on. The things that used to be $30 are now going to be the $80, where now the stuff that used to be $80 is going to be more like $150. It's like double in price.
Pretty
so
close.
It's just been hard, I think, for me to cope with the price changes. Like Nate and I went out to eat the other day, and we used to be able to eat out for like $20, $25. Now it seems like we can't even go out to dinner for less than $50, and it like
crazy.
Blows my mind. And I leave, and I'm like, I'm not eating out anymore. So that's just something that we're all experiencing this together, this crazy inflation rate for this. I think if you're looking for something budget for kid, great option. As Nate said, you're gonna have trouble finding spare parts though. So that's like the biggest downside of something like this. But I think that's how it goes for any RC car you would buy at Walmart too. Like, good luck
That's right.
finding spare parts.
Good point.
So,
Good point.
usually around this price point, spare parts don't exist. You would have to just buy 2 and then use 1 to fix the other.
Or maybe you hold on to this if you break it and use it for parts for another vehicle.
My favorite thing about this is the The knobby tires, I think they just look cool. I don't know if they perform very well, but they do look cool, and I think the body looks really cool. And you'll see like there's actually a plastic layer.
And there's a film. There's a film on it.
I like to keep our little film on our trucks for as long as possible. So then we just peeled off, and it's like you have a brand new truck again.
That's right.
If you want to feel like you have another new truck. So this was fun, and for just a great day, and for getting out in this what's now fall weather. Is it fall officially?
I mean, you got long sleeves and jeans on.
That's the only good thing about cold weather is truck season. And so that makes me happy. And so for that, I just want to thank God for all the good in my life. It's great to have a hobby that I get to share with Nate, my husband, and you know, even Amelia is starting to get into it now. So for that, I'm just so thankful, and I encourage every single one of you guys that are watching to find something that you enjoy in your life, and that's why we love to share our hobby with you guys, because it brings us happiness. I also want to say a huge thanks to our patron family members. You guys are the reason we can get out so often and make these videos for everybody. So for that, thank you so much. I'll have another one of my favorite budget RC cars popping up right about now. Go check that out, because I think you'll like it way better. See you guys over there.